Right now, I personally don't trust the job reports, and I am very happy, but at the same time terrified to find out that literally everyone I talk to feels the same way. So basically, here is what is going on. The job reports you see on the news every month, the ones that tell you the economy added 130,000 jobs, unemployment's at 4.3%, everything's fine, they're wrong. And I don't mean a little bit wrong. I mean off by over 1 million jobs wrong. This isn't conspiracy theory stuff. This is the Bureau of Labor Statistics' own admission. And if you've been out there applying to job after job, hearing nothing back, wondering why the news says the job market is strong, but you can't even get an interview, this is why. I'm going to walk you through exactly what's broken in these job reports, why you can't trust the numbers anymore, and most importantly, what you need to do right now to protect yourself in this absolute mess of a job market. So if this sounds like something you need to hear, hit that like button right now, because YouTube's algorithm needs to know people care about the truth, not just the headlines. Here's what we're covering today. First, I'm going to show you the actual data on how wrong these job reports have been. And I'm talking 3 straight years of massive revisions that prove the numbers you hear first are basically educated guesses. Then we're going to break down why this is happening, from AI hiring systems that are ghosting qualified people to a frozen job market where nobody's hiring and nobody's firing. And then the most important part, I'm going to give you the exact action steps you need to take to navigate this market when you can't trust what anyone's telling you. This is about preparation, not panic, okay? Let's get into it. So let's start with the numbers, because they're absolutely wild. In January, the US job market had 108,000 layoffs announced. That's the highest January total since 2009, right in the middle of the Great Recession. But here's the thing, we're not in a recession right now. GDP is growing at around 4%. Corporate profits are up. The stock market's been doing fine. So why are we seeing Great Recession levels of job cuts during what's supposed to be a healthy economy? Because companies planned these cuts at the end of 2025, which means they looked at 2026 and said, we need fewer people. That's not a good sign, right? Now, most people hear 108,000 layoffs, and they think, okay, that's bad, but the news says we're adding jobs every month, so it balances out. Except it doesn't, because those job creation numbers you hear, they're wrong. Let me show you how wrong. In 2025, the initial job report said the US added 584,000 jobs for the year. The revised number, 181,000. That's 403,000 jobs that didn't actually exist. They had to revise them away, and this isn't a one-time thing. In 2024, they overstated job creation by 898,000 jobs. In 2023, 589,000. 3 years in a row, the government told you the job market was way stronger than it actually was. Comment below if you think it's insane that the people in charge of tracking jobs can be off by almost 1 million jobs and we're all just supposed to trust the next report, because I want to know what you think about that. And it gets worse. The Bureau of Labor Statistics now admits there's a margin of error of plus or minus 122,000 jobs every single month. That means when they say the economy added 130,000 jobs, it could actually be 8,000, or it could be 252,000. They genuinely don't know. It's like your GPS telling you you're either in New York or Philadelphia. Good luck figuring out where you actually are, right? How are you supposed to make career decisions, financial decisions, life decisions based on data that has a 244,000 job swing every month? You can't, and that's the problem. Now let's talk about what the revisions actually show when you dig into them. December 2025 was initially reported as 50,000 jobs added, revised down to 48,000. November was 56,000, revised down to 41,000. Over and over, the pattern is the same. Big number gets announced, media runs headlines about a strong job market, then months later, they quietly revise it down and nobody talks about it. But you feel it, don't you? You feel it when you apply to 100 jobs and get 5 responses. You feel it when you have 10 years of experience and can't get past the automated screening. The data catches up to your reality eventually, but by then, everyone's moved on to the next headline. Here's what's really happening in the job market right now, and this is where it gets important. We're in what experts are calling a low hire, low fire stasis. Companies aren't mass firing people because unemployment's already pretty low, and they don't want to deal with the PR hit or the cost of rehiring later, but they're also not hiring. Job openings are down, new hires are down, the labor market is basically frozen. And when you combine that with AI screening tools, you get this black hole where applications just disappear. 70% of companies now say they use skills-based hiring, which sounds great, right? We're judging people on what they can do, not just their degree. Except in practice, it means AI tools are scanning your resume for exact keyword matches. And if you wrote more than 10 years of experience instead of 10 plus years, the robot rejects you before a human ever sees it. Same qualification, different words, you're out. Comment if you've been rejected by an automated system and you know you were qualified for that job, because I want to hear your stories. And then there's the scam problem. Job scams in 2026 have gotten so sophisticated that they're almost impossible to spot. Scammers are using AI to generate perfectly professional job postings, fake company websites, even conduct fake video interviews. They sound exactly like a real corporate recruiter because they're using the same language models real companies use. And when you can't tell the difference between a real job posting and a fake one, and you're applying to hundreds of positions out of desperation, you're vulnerable. People are giving up personal information, doing unpaid trial work, even sending money for training materials because they're so desperate to get hired. It's predatory, and it's everywhere right now. Now, let me be very clear about what I'm not saying, because this is important. I am not saying the sky is falling. I am not saying you should panic. I am not doing what CNN or Fox News does, where they run scary headlines to get clicks and then offer you nothing useful. What I am saying is that the tools we've used for decades to understand the job market, the monthly jobs report, the unemployment rate, the headlines, those tools are broken right now. And if you keep relying on them, you're going to keep feeling like you're going crazy because what they say and what you experience don't match up. So we need to adjust. We need to operate based on what's actually happening, not what the news says is happening. Make sense? Let's talk about why this matters beyond just the numbers. When job data is this unreliable, it creates ripple effects everywhere. The Federal Reserve uses this data to make decisions about interest rates. If they think the job market is stronger than it is, they keep rates higher for longer, which makes borrowing more expensive, which slows down business investment, which leads to fewer jobs. It's a feedback loop. Politicians use this data to argue about policy. If the numbers say everything's fine, there's no urgency to fix anything, even though millions of people are struggling. And regular people like you and me use this data to make decisions about whether to switch jobs, go back to school, move to a new city. If the foundation of that decision-making is flawed data, you're building your future on sand. And here's something that should really concern you. The healthcare sector carried almost 70% of all job gains in 2025. 70%. That means almost every other sector lost jobs. Technology, transportation, retail, chemical manufacturing, all cutting. UPS cut 30,000 jobs in January alone. Amazon cut 16,000. These aren't struggling companies. Amazon's not going bankrupt. They're restructuring, automating, using AI to eliminate layers of management. And when you hear AI will cost jobs, this is what that looks like in real time. Not robots on a factory floor. Algorithms that compress entire org charts so one skilled person with AI tools can do what used to take a team of 5. Comment what you think about companies using AI to justify layoffs, even when they're profitable, because I genuinely want to know if you think that's fair, or if it's just corporate greed. Now, the government will tell you unemployment is 4.3%, which sounds pretty good, right? But that number only counts people actively looking for work. It doesn't count people who gave up. It doesn't count people working part-time who want full-time. It doesn't count the people who are technically employed but making half what they used to. The real picture is worse than 4.3%, and you know it because you're living it. How many people do you know who are underemployed right now? How many are working gigs instead of careers? How many have been looking for 6 months and have nothing to show for it? That's not in the 4.3%. And let's talk about the psychology of this for a second because it matters. When you apply to 50, 100, 200 jobs and hear nothing back, it's not just frustrating, it's crushing. You start to think something's wrong with you. You start to doubt your skills, your experience, your worth. And the whole time, the news is saying the job market is strong, which makes you feel even more like a failure. But here's what I need you to understand. It's not you. The system is broken. The hiring process has been taken over by algorithms that don't understand context, by companies that post ghost jobs they never intend to fill, by scammers who exploit your desperation. You're not failing. You're navigating a rigged game. And once you understand that, you can start playing by different rules. So what do? Here's where we get to the action steps, and this is the most important part of this entire video. I'm going to give you concrete things you can do right now, today, to protect yourself and actually get traction in this mess of a job market. Number 1, stop relying on online applications as your primary strategy. I know that sounds crazy because that's how we've been taught to job hunt, but the reality is that most applications disappear into an AI black hole. You need to get in front of actual humans. That means networking. I know everyone hates that word, but here's what it really means. Reach out to people who work at companies you want to work for. LinkedIn, message them, email them. Ask for 15 minutes of their time to learn about their role. Most people will say yes because most people like talking about themselves. And when a job opens up, you're not a random resume in a pile of 500. You're the person they had coffee with last month. That's how you bypass the AI. Number 2, verify every job posting before you invest time in applying. Go to the company's actual website and see if the job is listed there. Look up the recruiter's name on LinkedIn and make sure they actually work for that company. If anything feels off, the email address is slightly misspelled, they're asking for personal information too early, they want you to buy something, walk away. I know you're desperate, but 5 minutes of verification can save you from a scam that wastes weeks of your time or worse. Steals your identity. Number 3, skills-based hiring is the new reality, so optimize for it. That means your resume needs to be ATS friendly. Use the exact keywords from the job posting. If they say project management, don't write manage projects. Rural rights Troy Cheater Cheater's Bright Brain Rights Brots Bright Churro right project management. It's the same thing to a human, but to an AI, it's different. I hate that this is how it works, but it is. You can fight the system or you can work within it while we try to fix it. Do both. Number 4, build redundancy in your income. I know this is hard when you're unemployed, but if you have a job right now, this is critical. The days of relying on one employer for everything are over. Start a side project. Freelance. Build a skill that's portable, because when layoffs come, and based on these numbers, they're coming, you want to have something else to fall back on. This isn't about hustle culture or grinding yourself into the ground. Etsbo says, Etsurto sai shi chop bin shetes. Bastor bat selkit churchini caldaso. End not having all your eggs in one basket that your employer controls. Number 5, focus on companies that still use human recruiters. Smaller companies, local businesses, startups, they often can't afford fancy AI screening tools, which means your resume actually gets seen by a person. Yes, they might pay a little less than a big corporation, but you know what pays even less? Being unemployed for 6 months because you can't get past Amazon's algorithm. Get in the door somewhere, prove your value, build your network, and then you have options. Number 6, if you're employed, make yourself indispensable. I don't mean work 80 hours a week. I mean become the person who understands systems, who solves problems, who makes other people's jobs easier. Because when companies do layoffs, they cut tasks, not systems. They cut overhead, not revenue generators. Position yourself as someone who would cost them more to lose than to keep. And document your wins. Keep a running list of every project you completed, every dollar you saved, every process you improved. When review time comes or layoffs loom, you have receipts. Number 7, don't trust the headlines. I mean it. When you see strong jobs report, dig into the actual data. Look at the revisions from previous months. Check sector breakdowns. See where the jobs actually are. Because the Karinaduri served on them. Economy. Added 150,000 jobs. Might mean healthcare added 200,000 and everyone else lost 50,000. And those are very different situations if you don't work in healthcare. Be your own analyst. The information is out there. You just have to look past the headline. Number 8, take care of your mental health through this. Job searching in this environment is brutal, and it will mess with your head if you let it. Set boundaries. Apply to jobs for 2 hours a day, then stop. Don't spend 8 hours a day getting rejected. It's not productive. It's just painful. Talk to people. Join communities of other job seekers who get it. And remember that your worth is not determined by whether an algorithm liked your resume. You are valuable. The system is broken. Those are two separate facts. And look, I know this is a lot. I know it's frustrating to hear that the tools we've relied on are broken and you have to work twice as hard to get the same results. But here's the thing, you're not alone in this. Millions of people are going through the exact same thing right now. And the more we talk about it, the more we share strategies, the more we call out the broken parts of the system, the better chance we have of fixing it. So comment below, how long have you been job searching? What's the most frustrating part for you? Let's build a community here where we actually help each other instead of pretending everything's fine. Now, before we wrap up, if you found this video helpful, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. I put out videos like this every week, breaking down what's actually happening in the economy, the job market, the housing market, all the stuff that affects your real life, not just Wall Street. And if you know someone who's job hunting right now, share this with them. They need to hear this. They need to know it's not them. It's the system. That's how we help each other get through this. The bottom line is this, job reports in 2026 are not reliable. The revisions prove it, your lived experience proves it, and until the system gets fixed, you have to operate based on reality, not headlines. Now, network like your career depends on it because it does. Verify everything, optimize for the AI while you work around it, build redundancy, and most importantly, don't let this break you. You are more than a resume, you are more than a job title. You have value that no algorithm can measure. Now get out there and show them that. Take care of yourself and take care of each other. Click another box on your screen to watch another video covering the real economy. Until the next one.